America fear their government, and the government is being run by too many powerful agencies like the IRS and others. I think it's time the people take the country back through their representative government.
Politician, living on that hill, living in that life of luxury on we the people's bill. Don't have a clue how the other half lives, and that is a shame. It's time to stop the tyranny. You keep pushing through your bills. Going for revolution, going for it now. It's time to save our Constitution while we still got the guns in our hands.
Hi, I'm Renee Kimball, and welcome to Freedom TV. We've got a very interesting program for you today. We're going to be discussing something called revival seminars, which I think you'll find very interesting. But first, I'm going to climb on my sovereign soapbox, and I'm going to talk a little bit about something that's going to be happening here in Portland very shortly. I did a series of showing people about the Divine Performing Arts, who came to Portland about a month and a half ago. And they're actually going to be coming here again. They're a troupe, an all-Chinese troupe, who volunteer their time. None of the people who are involved in the Divine Performing Arts get paid. And it is a completely spectacular event. It is costumed and danced and just very spectacular. So that's going to be coming to Portland this month. And this is the date. It's going to be at the Keller Auditorium, one day only. So if you did miss it, the last time it was here, you do have a second opportunity, and this will be your only other opportunity this year. They will not be coming back. So if you need more information, go to pdxshow.com, and the event will be happening on May 19th at the Keller Auditorium. Now we're going to be talking about first aid priorities. Our regular segment of Surviving and Thriving is all about what do you do for first aid when you're out in the middle of nowhere. So these are some of the things that you need to consider when you're discussing what to do in a survival situation. So this is Surviving and Thriving, first aid priorities.
A life-threatening injury or illness is always treated first, but that doesn't mean that the person who is injured is necessarily in the life-threatening situation. It could be a person not even involved, but is going into shock. Shock is the most life-threatening condition, either in an urban or wilderness setting. Shock is your brain perceiving a crisis, whether it's real or not. It attacks the cardiovascular system. Pretend you're squeezing an orange and the juice is your oxygen. The more you squeeze, the less oxygen your body has. But you don't necessarily have to be an injury or illness victim to go into shock. You simply can see blood or pass by an accident and become a victim of shock. A life-threatening breathing situation can be from asthma, allergic reaction from a number of things, or even choking on something. All of these could be life-threatening if not treated. Severe bleeding occurs from a deep cut or wound, and a large amount of blood is being lost or does not stop by itself. Be aware that another reason for severe bleeding could be a prescribed medication that a person is taking. It's time to apply the 3 C's. Check the surroundings to ensure it's safe to continue into the area where the person is injured. You want to approach in a safe manner. You don't want to become injured yourself or cause injury to someone else trying to help. Call. What plan of action will you be taking to help the individual? Care. Provide care to them only to your training and knowledge level.
As I approach the location of an injured victim, I want to be sure that I first check the scene for safety. I do this because I do not want to do further harm to the victim or become a victim myself. This is the first rule of first aid. Do you have your first aid kit?
Yes.
Is it in your bag?
Yes.
May I get it?
Please.
Now, when I come up on a scene like this and there's blood involved or any bodily fluids, I want to be sure to protect myself from any bloodborne pathogens, so I want to put on my protection before I treat. At the same time, we want to stop the bleeding as quickly as we can, so what we can do is take our sterile gauze out of our first aid kit and ask my victim, can you put that over your wound and put direct pressure on that for me, please? Then while she's doing that, I'm going to want to get on my protection, which in most cases just a pair of rubber gloves to protect me from any pathogens that might be present. Also protects the victim in case I'm the one that has something that I don't want to share with them. As she's applying the direct pressure, in this case, just do a basic roller bandage. Start by rolling it around the base of the bandage on the furthest point out on the appendage, because as I roll, I want to make sure that I roll up the arm so that I don't capture any extra blood in the hand or the wrist area. What that'll do is cause extra swelling that we do not need. I also want to be sure to bandage about 1.5 inches above and 1.5 inches below the injury to ensure that the bandage is covered properly. As I come to the end of the bandage, I'm going to do what is called a fold-over tie. And I'm going to fold it over my finger and wrap it back around the bandage. And I'm going to twist this side to make a tie. Is just do an overhand knot and pull it snug. If the wound continues to bleed and soaks through the initial bandage, all I need to do is pull out another gauze pad and another roller bandage and apply it on top of the first one. For a cut on the knee such as this, get my sterile dressing and my roller bandage and do very similar to what we did before. Put direct pressure on the location. What I'm going to do is very similar to a roller bandage, only on this one, I'm going to do what is called a figure 8 bandage. I started off the same way I did before, starting on the bottom end of the bandage, the furthest away from the heart, to ensure that the blood does not get trapped in the foot. Only instead of wrapping it all the way around, all the way up through the bandage, I'm going to cross over on the front, up to the top of the joint, wrap it around once on the top, and as I come back around, I'm going to cross it over again on the way down. Wrap it around again, one full turn, and then cross it back up again. And I'm going to continue to do this for the full length of my bandage. If by chance you come to the end of the roll and the bandage is not covered sufficiently, you can always add another bandage. If we have enough coverage, at this point you can go ahead and do your fold over tie and go ahead and tie it below the knee. What this bandage does is it allows appropriate pressure across the injury on the front of the knee, but it also allows freedom in the back of the knee so that if we have to walk out, the individual's knee can function properly without the bandage clumping up behind the knee. If you're going to add a bandage, finish the roll and wrap it all the way around until it gets to the very end. Grab your other roller and just roll it over the top of it. And of course, in order to hold it in place, you're going to have to do another full roll around the top of the knee. And then just continue your bandage. End your roll by tying it off. For injuries on the elbow, what we're going to do is very similar to what we do with the knee. We would apply the gauze bandage and then do our figure 8 roller. Once again, we're starting about 1.5 inches below the bandage on the bottom side of the appendage. We roll once, then we cross over the elbow to the upper arm. We roll it once, bring it back down across. Once again, what it does is it gives the pressure on the edge of the elbow that we need to hold the bandage there and to stop the bleeding, but it allows the inside of the arm the space needed to be able to move what little bit it'll need to move. If you're in a situation where we have to do long-term care, usually about a day later, go ahead and unroll the bandage and leave the gauze on until you're ready to irrigate, but what we need to do is clean the wound out and reapply the bandage. In order to irrigate the wound, what you want to do is be able to utilize some water that's been sterilized at a high pressure. Take the water and pour it in our rubber glove. Once you have the glove about half full, gather the top, you take the scissors and cut a small hole in the end. All we need to do is go ahead and remove the gauze and give a little bit of pressure and clean everything off that we need. Once the wound has been irrigated, what we're going to do is apply another clean, sterile bandage. For bleeding that does not stop from direct pressure, elevate the wound above the heart and locate the pressure point on the limb to help slow the blood flow to the wound. For many head wounds, a cravat will be used. This is easily made by taking a triangular bandage out of the first aid kit and unfolding it. And then you start at the top and just simply fold it down 2 to 3 inches until it's just one long bandage, and now you've made a cravat. When treating a head wound, first apply direct pressure with the gauze, holding it in place. Take the cravat we've just made, and while continuing to hold the direct pressure, wrap it around the head to continue direct pressure, tie it off over the top of the wound.
Hi, welcome back to Freedom TV, and I hope you enjoyed that little segment of what to do. Kind of gory, but necessary information. And today we're here with Ludo and Sylvia Prikler, and we're going to be discussing something called revival seminars. This is really interesting. Now, one of the reasons that I wanted you to come on the show is that you're going to be leaving the United States and you're going to be traveling overseas with revival seminars very shortly, and you're going to be going to Slovakia. That's kind of across the world, a long ways away. Now, I've got a question for you. People confuse, is it Czechoslovakia or is Slovakia its own country?
So, to give a brief answer, after the World War First, it became Czechoslovakia, 1918,
Right.
and in 1993 these two parts split into separate states.
Right. Oh,
Czech
okay.
Republic, Slovakia.
Czech Republic and Slovakia. So they're and they traditionally Slovakia has been its own country for a long time before World War II. Well,
It was, but it was this Austria-Hungarian monarchy, and it was
right.
like 1,000 years. Slovaks always complained that the Hungarians continually kept them under control, and
right.
they didn't
So
like
they
it.
didn't have their own country for 1,000 years. Oh.
Yeah.
Now tell me a little bit about revival seminars. Now, are they seminars, or is it a revival, or is it kind of a combo of both?
It's a combo of both. But I'll let my husband explain that because he's the one who's been editing the seminars.
Oh, okay.
So it's a very small family-type ministry, which has kind of a big burden for character building, and that's what we are doing. And we recorded in Tennessee the series of 40 episodes, lectures.
40 episodes.
40
really?
episodes.
Wow.
And thanks to your colleagues here in the TV, we had the privilege to prepare all of them for the studio, and
Right.
hopefully from September this year we will present
them.
it to all people in
Great.
this city.
Excellent. Now, the survival seminars, now, when you go to Slovakia, are you going to be just doing the seminars, or what else are you going to be doing?
You know, both of us, we have kind of a medical prevention background, and that's
okay.
our burden, to help people to realize that we are responsible for our health,
Right,
and
right.
we have a freedom of choice, either to smoke or to breathe fresh air.
Yeah, well, you got your choice there. Now, we do have a few pictures, and I'd like to go through those, and that'll kind of give people a little bit of an idea about the place you're going, number one, and some of the stuff that the survival. Survival. It is a type of survival, though.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. So we can bring those pictures up, and we'll go through the first one. And this is obviously you two. And you can tell us just a little bit how you guys met, because it's kind of interesting.
Back in '96, I had a big burden to want to be a missionary, and so I decided that I wanted to find out a different way of going. In 2004, I had the privilege of going with a group to Romania. And from there, then I got such a love for Romania that I wanted to go back again. So in 2006, I went to Romania, and I went to the school, Hergelia, to learn how to learn more medical missionary training.
Right.
And that's where the picture is, in front of the boys' dorm.
In front of the boys' dorm. So you met in front of the boys' dorm. Okay, we're not going to go there. And this, now what's this one? This is kind of an old man's dream fulfilled in the life of his son.
Yeah, to tell you at least briefly a little bit about that, that's that old man in communistic time, he was reading the books here from United States about starting lifestyle centers, so-called sanitariums, where people could get these natural remedies.
Right.
But because of the regime Ceausescu, and you know, in Romania how it was in communism, he didn't have a chance to fulfill it. But his passion for all of that was so strong that he kind of passed it on to his children.
Right.
And right after the fall of this Berlin Wall, fall of communism, his children got to United States. They got a medical training, like in California's famous university, Loma Linda. And on the next picture, we will see this dream of this father turned into a real beautiful lifestyle center.
So this is a whole lifestyle center. And after we finish with the pictures, we'll get into what this means, a lifestyle center, because this is a whole new definition of lifestyle center. So this is actually in Romania?
Yes.
Yeah, that's from Romania with the help of people from United States. And in the bottom you can see the family of those children of that old man, Dr. Dan, who is now president of this institution, and behind him is actually University of Loma Linda.
Wow.
Where they graduated some years ago.
Wow. Okay, now here we have a series of pictures. Now this is actually in the Lifestyle Center. These are some of the things. If you can describe for us, what are they actually doing here? What are some of the things?
So usually people come for like 2 weeks, different type of sessions, and they get a introductory meeting with the doctor, all these blood sugar, cholesterol, they send to the laboratory the blood.
So they do a whole series of tests when you come in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's amazing because actually 2 weeks later they give the blood once more and you can see all these risk factors, they dropped significantly.
Wow.
And these lifestyle centers are known as one of the best, with the best results with beating the diabetes.
Really? Now what's in the right-hand corner? Is that the kind of food that they
Yeah,
they
so
provide?
the whole program was developed here in California, in Weimar. We will have another picture from there. And they call it New Start, which are kind of 8 principles of health. And the beauty is that you have as a package all of them applied at once.
Right.
So you have a good diet, like you can see, you know, the usually vegan diet,
and then
good exercise program. They offer the massage and hydrotherapy, and all of that is individually applied according to the lifestyle problem people are coming.
Right. So
osteoporosis, diabetes.
It's not just going and eating healthy and, you know, sitting around and
specifically for the person.
It's specifically for the person.
Yeah.
Right. And here's some other things about what people are doing.
These are some of the students. Up in the left-hand corner is some of the students that come that we have been teaching. They're gypsy children from the closest villages come to the school and have studies. And we have an African Bible teacher, so it's kind of an international taste there. You have such an international taste. one down below is some old people that live in the closest city, and we have the students go down there, sing to them, talk to them, and they're just dying for so much attention and need. And they just, you go and you can touch them, you can hold them, and they appreciate it so much. And
that's something that we need to start here. Can you stay in the United States and do the mission here?
And then the top picture on the right is my husband telling a story to the young gypsy children in that village that we were at.
Great, that's excellent.
Okay.
Now,
So this is my alma mater, you know. Back in 1993, I was selected from the group of Czechoslovakia, and we came with a family to Wildwood, Georgia, where is a well-known lifestyle center since 1941, if I remember
really?
well.
Whoa.
And so actually on the picture you have all those 8 principles of New Start, you know, temperance, good diet, exercise, sunshine, rest, trusting God, and good diet. I don't know if I skipped any of those. So that's the cafeteria. We were just a few months ago there revisiting, and I met old friends. It was really a joy.
So this lifestyle, the idea of the lifestyle center has been around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. 1941, wow.
Actually, it starts back in Battle Creek. That some people which know Kellogg, you know, these
Yeah.
Kellogg chips. So that started in those 18
Kellogg
late
cornflakes.
cornflakes.
Kellogg
yeah.
cornflakes. Now, what do we have here? These are...
So that's the lifestyle center in Weimar, not far from here in California, where they started the whole New Start program, and that's the principle is always the same.
Right.
Good diet and excellent fellowship. You know, people
Right.
are stress-free and they can
Oh,
recover.
stress-free. Yes, that's what I would like. Now, this is Slovakia. So.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Actually, on the picture you can see a little town Pucho where I'm coming from. That's the rubber factory, Matador, like Goodyear or Michelin.
Tire factory.
Tires and that's where are my sons, and we are going home actually with Sylvia.
So
And this looks like one of the principles is hugging, huh? Sounds good to me.
To be normal you need at least 4 of them a day, and of course to be genius at least 8.
Oh, okay. So if we all get 8 hugs, we're all going to turn into geniuses?
there you
Okay,
go.
group hug. Okay.
This is a special opportunity for us. Last year we got to go
For a short trip.
for a short trip to Pujo, where we're going to now, and they asked us to do a health presentation, and so we did it on raw foods, and
Right.
so he's my translator, and so we got to do it together. So
That's
it's a
excellent.
nice teamwork, yeah.
Excellent.
And now we are ending up with few pictures from our ministry. So that's a revival seminars close to Lincoln City on the beach. So that's our team.
Wow.
And here is our main speaker, who is actually right now again in Europe on his tour, and he
Oh,
continues his
Right,
character
so,
building lectures.
great, and here we are back with us again. Excellent. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you about the revival seminars and the life centers. These life centers, is it associated with any particular religious philosophy, or is it like just a standalone thing that is incorporated in the life center and the revival seminars? Is it a particular religion, or you know, like there's Seventh-day Adventist and there's, you know,
Yeah.
so is
Yes.
it?
Yes, we are Seventh-day
Okay,
Adventist.
I wasn't sure, so I thought I would ask her.
No, we are.
And one of the things that I find really interesting about Seventh-day Adventists is, of course, vegetarian,
Yes.
but very much into raw foods. Why raw foods?
Oh.
Why raw foods?
You know, when you look at the whole group of Adventists, they are not all vegetarians, but there are people which try to eat, if meat, then at least clean meat, which is healthier.
Right.
And raw food would be kind of a direction. That's not like everybody has to go to this diet.
Right.
But picture would be from paradise. You know, you grab the beautiful fresh fruit, you have some seeds, some walnuts or some almonds, and grains. We at home, we are sprouting them, and we are very happy to recommend it to everybody.
Right.
It's a living diet which is full of enzymes, and today scientists, they say that the enzymes are really lacking in the diet, and
right.
we kill it in our cooking. But of
So
course
cooking actually kills the enzymes that are naturally in food.
Exactly.
it's
okay.
time for a happy cookie, maybe.
Oh, a happy cookie, yes. Yes. Okay. This is a
So,
happy cookie.
We would like to introduce to
Okay.
you
Happy cookie.
anti-stress,
Anti-stress.
antidepressant happy cookie.
Is that anti-stress or anti? Okay, happy cookie.
And
These are anti-stress cookies?
Sylvia might tell you why they call them anti-stress.
They're just chock full of omegas. They're mostly walnuts. The base of it is walnuts and flaxseed. So they're just more to help you to relax and
tasty.
And it's a very simple
Oh,
recipe.
if I eat any more, I'll just gobble the plate here. Just put them aside. They're mine later. Nobody touch them. Yeah.
No, it's a very simple recipe. It's just very simple. People who are allergic maybe to milk or to eggs or anything like that, it's all free from that. You can use flour that's maybe gluten-free. You can use into the recipe people who aren't gluten intolerant. So it's a very versatile recipe that still tastes good and
it's tasty, very tasty.
enjoyable. Yeah.
It doesn't have that, health food taste.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, geez, I just put a whole wad of chalk in my mouth and I've got to swallow this.
And that's the whole thing about trying to do healthy foods, is not to think that it's something that's going to taste awful, but something that's still tasty and made from fresh products. And that's what we're trying to promote. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be back in just a few minutes, but right now we're going to take a short break and we're going to go to a little video about somebody who's been on the show before. And this is Medical Teams International. And this is a short video about what they do and their work. And this is called Great Adventure.
From here, all looks well. A peaceful blue globe of dazzling beauty. Closer to the ground, the pictures aren't so beautiful. Since 1979, Medical Teams International has been proving that the power of one person doing the right thing for the right reason and at the right time is the most powerful influence in the world. Our mission is to help people affected by disaster, conflict, and poverty around the world, including the United States and the Pacific Northwest. In the region, we maintain a fleet of 10 mobile dental clinics, serving more than 16,000 patients annually in 39 counties across the Pacific Northwest. Volunteerism is at the heart of everything we do, and nearly 900 volunteer dental professionals provide nearly $6 million worth of free or low-cost dental care each year, as well as other assistance.
The hygiene kits that are provided by medical teams to so many other nonprofits within the metropolitan area is a huge help and assistance to a number of people that are living in shelters and on the streets.
Janine and her husband, Dr. Mal Makinich, are longtime volunteers with Medical Teams International after Hurricane Katrina hit the Gulf Coast of the United States, after a winter storm pounded the coasts of Oregon and Washington, in construction projects for the poor in Mexico and in northern Uganda.
It's an absolute gift to be able to share not only some of our resources, but our time and our sweat with some of these people who are in dire need, both locally and across the world.
Medical Teams International works to establish long-term partnerships with other organizations that have boots on the ground to aid people affected by disaster, conflict, and poverty.
MTI builds community centers, and from that community center, then information, education, vocational training, and medical goods are disseminated. The community can come together to do what governments cannot do. I believe that MTI is a phenomenal template around the world for what we could be doing here at home.
Those teams, in turn, leave a lasting presence to help people help themselves after an immediate crisis has been dealt with. More than 96% of all that Medical Teams International receives as donations goes directly to people in need. Every $30 helps send $3,500 worth of humanitarian aid and supplies to people in need. In her professional role as president and CEO of Becker Capital Management, Inc., Janine has spent years comparing our efficiencies with those of other nonprofits. Her conclusions about MTI are clear.
That their ability to translate dollars into actual delivery of goods and services in the field, whether it be here in Oregon, in the Northwest, in the United States, or around the world, that there was probably very few comparable organizations in the United States.
Medical Teams International does such incredible work and is able to take whatever they get and multiply it so many times and to the impact of the goods and services that actually go out to reach the people. Anything possible that people can do despite the current downturn in the economy to support the very, very important work that Medical Teams International does is crucial to the lives of these people.
These people who have nothing are the kindest, most generous, individuals who always had a smile on their face no matter how bad it was.
I feel the most alive, if you will, when I'm in these situations, and feel grateful to MTI for allowing me these experiences of the heart.
Hi, welcome back to Freedom TV with Ludo and Sylvia Prikler, and we're talking about revival seminars.
Yes.
Now, when you go to Slovakia, and you're leaving very soon, aren't you?
You won't believe us, it's only 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Oh, yay, I want to go. I pack in a suitcase. You can take me. What are you going to do when you get there? What's the plan?
You know, today was a Mother's Day, so we were trying to reach our families, so we will give a hug to my mama.
Okay.
My brother will pick me up from...
Have to have the right priorities. This is, you know, what are you going to do first? Give a hug to my mama. I like this. On Mother's Day, this is good.
Yeah, so that will be with 2 weeks delay, and of course then we have to move to a little town where we live. That's north of Slovakia, close to Moravian border.
The Moravian border?
Moravia, that's part of Czech Republic, but, but they consider themselves as something special because of their history.
Oh, okay.
So we are living
now,
close.
how big is the town that you're going to be living in?
I would estimate 25,000, and by now maybe 25,001. You know, it's it's growing, multiplying.
So it's fairly small, 25,000. That's not very big.
And Sylvia might tell you a little bit about what we are doing right now to be ready. English.
Well, we're trying to figure out what to take and not to take, but when they're asking us to do health programs when we get there, and so that's what we're really excited about, and we have an opportunity also in July to go back to Romania and to teach some classes there too. So we'll be teaching.
Excellent.
My husband will be teaching an education class, and I'll be teaching cooking classes.
Cooking classes.
Yes.
Or non-cooking classes.
Yes,
is the case.
exactly.
The uncooking classes.
Exactly. I like
excellent.
those easier.
Yeah. No, actually, I don't like cooking, so this may be a really good idea for me.
It's a lot time saving.
Now, what do you mean by health classes? What kind of health classes are you going to be teaching people?
Usually, like my husband was talking about New Start, we'll do like each opportunity we teach a class, we'll do maybe nutrition, we'll talk about exercise, we'll talk about water, we'll talk about the benefits of sunshine, temperance, making sure we're not overeating or doing other things that are going to be harming our bodies, resting, make sure we're sleeping enough, Also, we go through all those different aspects of the 8 laws of health, and then we include simple remedies. I've done a cooking schools where we've done simple remedies, a little bit of hydro, and then we did also raw cooking.
Raw cooking.
Yeah.
Well, there's got to be another term.
I
Raw
know,
cooking just doesn't cut it. You know, it's like, no, it doesn't work together here. Raw cooking.
I know, I have to think of a new
You
term
don't
to
need too
say.
much fire for raw cooking.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
you don't need a lot of fire. You don't need to heat things very much. Now, with raw
Preparation,
food,
maybe
raw
preparated.
yeah,
There you go.
There you go. Raw preparation of food. What about storage of these kinds of things? Can you store these things for long periods of time?
Like the sprouting is
Yeah, I
we
guess
do we do sprouting, and usually it's just from the grains, and grains usually store
Yeah.
pretty well. So
Oh yeah, you
we
can
don't
store
have too
wheat
much.
for like 25 years.
Yeah,
and
so
it'll still sprout.
that's the easiest, and the sprouting is usually 3 days. We rotate through different grains, and we're making sure that we're eating different grains, not the same grain all the
Right.
time.
So it's not like just alfalfa seeds. So what kind of things do you?
We do spelt, we do barley.
Barley. You can sprout barley.
Yes.
Oh.
Barley. What else
That's
we
one
do?
of the favorites in our
Really?
family.
Really?
Oat groats and rye.
Oat groats and rye. So we sprout all those different grains. There's probably more, but those are our favorites.
So instead of using the grains like grinding flour and baking it, which produces this kind of glutinous thing,
yes,
that's kind of, it's you sprout them and you eat them that way. Oh,
Yes.
so this is an entirely different way of
But
utilizing grains.
You know, but if you would eat just as it is, probably wouldn't be very appealing. But we want to make it like happy
No,
cookies.
I
So
don't know.
the secret
Mouthful
is
of rye
what you
doesn't-
put to eat into it.
Yeah.
we've with the raw grains, usually, people who like soy milk or different types of milks, they can add that. We put raisins, dry fruits, fresh fruit in it. We'll do smoothies. We'll pour smoothies over them. I mean, it's just
Right.
different varieties. And you can also, not just for breakfast, but you can use them for savory meals. You could put tomatoes and olives and put a little salt, seasoned salt or something on them.
And this is all raw. So you like chop up the.
Let me tell you, green drink. You know, I'm working nearby,
Yeah.
and my wife, she's saying, Ludo, come home. It's time for lunch. And I go home and I have to make a lunch.
No, you make green drink.
Green drink.
Green drink.
Okay, what's green drink
Green
here?
drink. So you go to your garden. If not,
Yeah.
then you go to Trillion in Lincoln City
Or
or
wherever
wherever
you
you get
have
some
a health
green
food.
leafy vegetables.
Okay.
You put them to your blender before you wash them, of course. You cut those more thickest parts of it. You blend it in some oat milk or almond milk or soy milk, whatever milk you have at home. Somebody can use their milk. You blend it. We put a spoon of pineapple.
The
Pineapple
pineapple
is very rich in-
concentrate, the pineapple concentrate juice.
Right, yeah,
you
okay.
just get
Yeah.
And it's they say it's concentrated with enzymes again. That's
Yeah.
what you want. You blend it, and you can put maybe some seeds or nuts just to make it a little bit more nutritious. And
And you-
children will love it. We put it to the blender.
You put the nuts and things in the drink through the
Yeah.
blender.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes to sweeten it, we'll use prunes, raisins, apricots,
One or two
dates.
dates will make
Yummy.
it. Or
Yeah.
banana is the best.
Yeah,
So
the
Banana's
banana.
the best, yes.
I never liked green leafy vegetables. That's not appealing. Doesn't taste too much. But with
Yeah.
this, you will eat it every day, and children will love it.
Really? And then you're getting all of the enzymes from the green and leafy vegetables.
And with this, you want to tell children, as you have your grandchildren or children around, you always tell them, you see, this is for your bones.
this is for
Because
your
the
bones.
osteoporosis today is on terrible growth,
Right.
and they don't realize that all this calcium, all the minerals, this is in your green leafy vegetables.
Right. And so the green leafy vegetables gives you this natural calcium.
Yes.
To your
And-
bones.
Right. And so cooking it will actually kind of
Kill it.
destroy
Yeah.
all these
Calcium you
vitamins,
don't destroy, but you want again those living elements in it.
the living elements in it.
But the calcium, children don't like the vegetables too much. But if you make it in this kind of a sweet form, in a liquidish form,
Yeah.
we put maybe sometimes cooked rice into it, and you get a porridge. Children will love it.
That's incredible.
So that's excellent for mothers who want to get some calcium to the first 20 years when they build the bones
Right.
to children.
So it's basically switching over from a cooked diet to a
living-
more of a living diet.
Yeah.
Now, is there any problem in switching over? Like if I just all of a sudden decided, okay, cold turkey, I'm going raw. You know? If I did that, would there be any kind of like?
Some people can do it. I mean, each one of us are different in the way we metabolize food and stuff. Some people can easily just switch from a cooked to a raw diet. But The best thing to do is probably 75-25, 75 raw, 25 cooked.
Right.
And to make and then you just kind of
Progressively
reach that
ratio.
area to where
it's
it's more raw.
Now, is it a lot? Do you have to spend a lot of time combining foods to make sure you get all kinds of things balanced?
We usually.
I know with cooked diets, you got to spend a lot of time. I'm just not really into that sort of stuff, to be honest with you. It's like a handful of vitamins, it'll do.
Usually, fruits are for our morning meal, and the vegetables are the afternoon meal. So we know that we're getting our fruits and grains and things in the morning. So if talking about combinations that way, at least you're not mixing your fruits and vegetables together. But you can balance out your meal that way, because you know you're getting your greens in the afternoon, you're getting your fruits in the morning.
Right.
Because usually we eat 2 meals a day, and so that's how we try to.
Another way how we would look at it would be alkaline versus acid diet. So today the whole society is over acid.
Acidic.
Yeah,
and so
acidic,
you would Google it out and you
Yeah.
search for alkaline diet chart, and you discover that lemon is very alkaline.
Right.
And the bread is creating a lot of acidity. So those, like in Romania, they love to eat bread, so they create a lot of these
acid reflux,
which is very killing in the body.
Right.
Acidity in the body, for example, is stealing again the minerals from the bones, which mainly would be the calcium.
Right.
And this builds up over the decades, 20, 30 years of such a lifestyle prepares for osteoporosis for the time when people are older.
And besides, you don't have to take all those drugs. This would be really good, and it's cheap. Now, we only have a couple minutes before we're going to have to take another short break, but I just want to start on the idea of, well, we have 1 minute before we have to take a break, so we're not going to even start on that area. I just want to ask you one quick question about your going. What made you decide to go to Slovakia to do that? It's not like there's not enough of us here who know this. What made you decide to go to Slovakia, of all places?
It's probably me more than
You just like Romania, and you figured Slovakia is close, right?
For me, it's just more that I wanted him to spend more time with his children, and also that we have the opportunity to serve where they asked us to come to. And
Excellent.
So it's...
What an opportunity. Sounds good. Well, we'll be back in just a few minutes. We're going to take another short break, and we're going to go to a roll-in, and I promised you, Divine Performing Arts. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, and have a really good look at something that's going to be coming to Portland in about a week. 19 days, actually. So this is Divine Performing Arts.
Heavenly music, breathtaking dances, enchanting landscapes, and timeless legends.
Was wonderful.
The show was great. Terrific in all ways.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's so beautiful.
I would like to come back and see it again.
China was once called the land of the divine. In ancient China, every member of society, from emperors to scholars to farmers, tried to live in harmony with the heavens. And in turn, heaven bestowed upon China the gifts of its culture, philosophy, painting, music, and dance. Sadly, since the 1950s, much of this divine culture has been lost under communist rule in mainland China. A revival of these lost traditions has begun. Today, nobody captures that grand essence of Chinese culture like Divine Performing Arts, the world's most celebrated assembly of Chinese dancers, singers, musicians, and performers.
For so many years, the most precious part of Chinese culture, I finally see it tonight.
The dancers, the movement, the arms, the ankles, the wrists, everything was just beautiful. So much movement, so much feeling. I could cry. That's how touching it was.
From a 32-city tour in 2007 to a 66-city tour in 2008, Divine Performing Arts has become a global phenomenon, reaching millions of audiences both live and through TV broadcasts. Its world-class performances have graced some of the world's most prestigious venues, including New York City's Radio City Music Hall, London's Royal Festival Hall, and the Kodak Theater in Los Angeles.
Tonight was one of the most magnificent shows I've ever seen. To see a culture with so much heart, so much spirit, so much grace.
It just struck me as, wow, this is beautiful.
Great effort is put into the show to ensure the authenticity and artistic merit of the programs. Hundreds of dancers, musicians, designers, choreographers, researchers, and production specialists work tirelessly to bring the audience a grand production the world has not seen since the time of the great emperors. Witness the beauty, the artistry, and the grandeur of the human spirit in all its perfection. Divine Performing Arts.
Hi, welcome back to Freedom TV. And we're here with Ludo and Sylvia Prikler, and we're talking about revival seminars. And I want to talk some more about the lifestyle centers. These sound really good. No cooking, cool. My kind of place. Now tell me about the lifestyle centers. Like if I was going to go to the lifestyle center, what would happen?
You can start.
Okay, as we said at the beginning, you will be introduced to the whole program first night,
Right.
get to know the colleagues, and to make a little relaxing atmosphere.
Right. And these go about, what, 2 weeks?
10 days.
Yeah,
10
they
days?
are 10 days, 3 weeks, you can choose.
Oh, really?
different
Oh,
settings.
okay.
In Romania, usually they do these 14-day sessions. So
Wow.
Monday you would arrive, and next week, Thursday, probably would leave. And
Right.
you can, of course, prolong it if you like it or if you have a need, medical need. So next day in the morning, they will send you to give your blood. They send it to laboratory. Afternoon, they might get the results. And doctor has a personal visit with every patient, new lifestyle guest. And based on his health problems, they will advise him what kind of program he should follow, and he gets his own therapist. So during the
Right.
whole program, therapist cares for him. In the morning, there is kind of stress seminar usually before breakfast or after breakfast. There are treatments till the lunch, and after lunch there is time to walk in a beautiful, lovely nature.
Wow.
Like in Romania, you can meet a bear sometimes.
That's okay.
That used to be.
Yeah. Hi, bye.
And of course they offer cooking classes, and in the evening is some fellowship program when they do either medical education to explain people, motivate them, and give the reasons why we should do these health
Right.
choices.
So they actually give you classes on how to prepare this kind of food.
Yeah,
Okay, let's
I
go.
remember there was
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Really?
And there was a European Congress of these professionals in prevention. So our president, Dr. Dan, he was presenting that it's like 32% of the whole program is educational. So that was pretty important to stress.
Right.
Because people really need to know. It's written like, for lack of wisdom, people perish. So that's one
Right.
reason.
And the thing is that, yeah, oh, fine, you go away for 14 days, big deal. If you don't know what to do when you come back, how are you going to continue? So that's really important that they do give you the ability to learn how to do this kind of cooking, or non-cooking, I guess.
Yeah,
you could call.
it's really nice because you see the patients when they first arrive, they're kind of tired, kind of haggard looking, you know, just needing a time for relaxation. On the last night, they have a thing called Masa Festiva, where all the patients get together, tell their stories of their experiences that they have, and you look at all of them, they're like glowing.
That's
You
incredible.
know, it's just yeah, you're just, wow, they were just here such a short time, and they're just glowing and sharing all the different experiences they had and the changes, and you know, I won't say that everybody goes home and does all of them, but they do practice the ones that they have, and they just love them. And they have people coming back all the time because they enjoy it so much and see the changes in their health.
Oh, that's incredible.
I'd like to share with you something which is always amazing whenever I think about that. So when you go to 3 different approaches about individual, about the small group, or about the whole nation, and
Right.
you go to the Bible, to the book of Daniel, chapter 1, and there you read a story about Daniel refusing the royal king's diet, which he could actually risk his neck. And somehow it worked out that they allowed him to do it. And in 10 days, there was a huge, big difference between him, his friends, and those who were living on porcupine, you know, on the king's wine and whatever
the king's
this
wine, yeah, well.
unhealthy diet. So the contrast was like 2 times bigger. So
Right.
that was one individual when you make your own choice and you can experience
Right.
it in your own life. But then it comes these lifestyle centers worldwide in different places, and you see the group of 20 up to 50 in Romania. It's so booked, like half year in advance. So like 50
Really?
people are coming. It's
Wow.
so looked after. And these 50 people, most of them, they really drop with all these risk factors. Cholesterol goes down, blood sugar goes down, blood pressure goes down. So they have a reason next year to come again to renew their vows, you know, to
Right.
continue.
Exactly.
And what shocked me when I discovered that in the 70s, Finland was considered one of the worst countries concerning heart diseases,
Yeah,
cardiovascular.
Finland doesn't have exactly with the best diet on the face of the
And there
planet.
was a young doctor at the time who managed to end up in WHO working there, and now he's back in Finland. So he managed to attract the whole government to support it through media, like this Portland TV. And they made health education through the media for the whole families.
Wow.
They started with the worst county, where there was the ratio of people dying for heart diseases #1.
Wow.
And he proved within a short period of time that it worked, like maybe a month. So the whole government approved for the whole country such a program, and Finland is today a leader in prevention.
Wow.
So what works for one person works for a small
Right.
group, for a family.
Right.
It works for the whole country.
And what it sounds like is this is not something that has to be like a year-long commitment. You're going to see results very, very quickly.
That's so
I mean, if you're
amazing.
going to see results in 14 days, my gosh, imagine what would happen if you're on the diet for a year.
And if the mother trains the children to
Right.
live in such a diet first 20 years, where
Right.
they build up. You know, the doctors, when they make the health education program, they say there is a car accident on a 15-year-old boy. They make autopsy, they open his aorta.
Aorta.
Aorta, okay, the biggest artery. And you can see ugly, yellow, thick plaques already on a 15-year-old. And doctor
Oh my
says
God.
if he would live 20 till he's 20, 25, he would die for his heart disease. So he's already in this time bomb living just on this hamburger diet.
Yeah.
Too fatty, too animal diet, which just prepares the whole new generation
Right.
to end
And
up with
that's-
terrible diseases.
That's incredible. And just by changing your diet, I mean, we're not talking about incredibly radical changes in your diet.
No.
Well, especially for me, it's like I don't like bread in the first place. So it's like, oh, well, that's no problem. We can get rid of that one. So, yeah, just shove the grains in the sprouter and away you go. So,
But it's also the combination of being outdoors in the sunshine, exercising, drinking sufficient amount of water, resting.
Right.
You know, all the combination of all of them help to give you a better lifestyle and
Right.
be enjoying life more. You know?
exactly. And I think water is one of the most underplayed things. I mean, I have so many of my friends say, oh, I drank lots of water. I said, yeah, put the pitcher on the table and tell me how much water you really drink.
You are already health educated.
I'm like, yeah, don't tell me you drink lots of water.
It's
you know,
true.
it's like you have the glass and you move it from place to place. That's not
Yeah.
drinking a lot of water.
Yeah, because a lot of headaches and simple ailments could be remedied by drinking in a sufficient amount of water.
Right.
Yeah, what hit me was to say that dying is nothing else, aging is nothing else than drying out.
Yeah,
So
dry out.
if people
really.
really maintain enough water
Yes.
every day, you know,
Yeah.
that pitcher, then
Yeah, a big pitcher. And I feel best when I have like 2 quarts of water minimum a day.
Yeah.
If I have that much water a day, everything seems to be, I don't get out of bed
Smooth.
going, oh my gosh, things are creaking.
Yeah.
And I don't want to work too well.
You are on a good way.
Yeah, so to me, water is really, really important. And I found that out very quick and early. And it's good to know that this is an important part of this diet. And it also sounds like a lot of the foods, you're retaining a lot of the water in the food, even the grains. I mean, grains have a certain amount of moisture in them. And if you don't grind it up and make it into flour and bake it in the oven, it's going to
Dry it out.
retain a little bit more of the liquid that's in it. And again, with the sprouts, when you sprout the food, the sprout has all that water in it. So the food that you're eating actually has a whole lot more water in it. So it sounds like a very, very healthy, health style diet. You know,
And it's
people can-
simple to do. It's not very...
Simple, I like.
Yes.
This is good. Simple is good.
Let me add a comment. You know, usually people say, oh, my grandfather, he was smoking this Taras bulba, they call it this heavy tobacco, you know, with this big pipe. And he was living like 80, 90 years. But people don't realize today that we are living in computer age when people have hardly any exposure to the outdoor. And that's killing. So those people who had a lot of outside life,
that's true.
They
Their
could
whole
burn
life,
it out,
yeah,
they could sweat it out.
Yeah, their
but
whole life
today
was quite a bit
everything is
different.
retained in the body, all this poison.
I know, and I'm number one guilty of sitting in front of the computer and absorbing the great mind.
My mama, she told me, you have to make sure every day be outside. So I'm going to Slovakia to follow
That's
my
kind
mama.
of going a long way to be outside. But it sounds like a wonderful place. And I'd really look forward to seeing that part of the world, because I've heard a great deal about that part of the world. Well, we're out of time, but I want to thank you both for coming on, and I wish you so much pleasure when you go overseas.
We need to tell you something.
Oh, okay.
Slovakia is known as a very hospitable country.
Oh
So
my gosh.
this is made by one lady, my very good
Oh
friend
my
in
God.
Slovakia, from the nature little elements she collected.
Oh my
So
God,
that would like to be our gift
oh,
for you.
thank you. That's so wonderful.
Her name is Olinka, so when I will get a DVD, I'd like to show her that
Great.
she traveled to Portland.
Oh, she traveled to Portland. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And have a wonderful trip. And you have a wonderful trip, and we'll see you next week with the Shop People.
I cry for my country, for the pain that it's been through. She's been made to suffer for the profit of a few. Storm clouds are forming, winds of change now touch our shores. Our heat forefathers are crying as the dream's been crucified. America, I show my love for thee with strength and loyalty. America, I show